butterfly hallway, because the whole hallway is decorated with butterflies. So in that hallway it was decorated with woman butterflies, actual woman with wings. And here also a woman with wings. But here you have actual butterflies. And again the lamps are the cocoons and the caterpillars transitioning into butterflies. Let's continue upstairs. This is the queen, sitting on the balcony. But the VIP was built later, and we are now behind room 1, behind the screen. And I think I will continue the story of Tuschinski because the room was opened and it was first the business was good, and then in the 1930s things changed a little bit. He lost the ownership of the company. But then in 1940 the Germans came in and they removed him from the theater and they put themselves in place and renamed it Tivoli instead of Tuschinski. And then they were all deported and they died in Amsterdam. They were called Gastanovic, and one of them continued being the director of the cinema for a very long time. But the ownership of the cinema did change a lot of hands, and in the end, 1990s, a lot of nicotine was still sticking to the walls, so everything was brown, and you couldn't see a lot of things anymore. A lot of things were overpainted, so you couldn't see what was beneath it. And then in the 1990s, they took over, and around 2000 they restored a lot of the building and removed a lot of layers of nicotine and paint that was painted over. And they tried to restore it into what it was as much as they could. To be like a prized thing, the crown of whole pâté in Europe. And I think they succeeded it. So, in honor of who made it, maintained it, with a very loaded story. You also have, next to room 1, you have room 2, which was a cabaret. And it's burned down in 1942. And the Germans commissioned new paintings for the room. And those are the paintings that stand behind the bar. We'll look at what they're it's like a freak show for the Germans, so all of the Germans don't like is painted in those paintings. Then it's a little bit the question of the artists trying to fool the Germans, or the Germans really wanting like a freak show in their eyes. But they hang here now as a part of the history of the
Where was the cabaret?
There was a cabaret. When we go upstairs, you went to the right, you can also go to the left, and there's the cabaret. And large names like Marlene Dietrich performed there. And you still have posters behind you on the wall. Also Tuschinski, also cabaret. And then Marlene Dietrich. Probably. Marlene Dietrich fell on the stairs and broke Here's
the silhouette's burning, embers rising high, like a chemical fire. The flame won't die. Intertwine, darling, you and I.
So here's the entrance. There was a balcony and there were tables. It was an actual real cabaret. So one of the things was you go to the movies and then you could have a cabaret, stay a little bit longer. And it was very popular, the cabaret back then. But this burned down and they tried to remodel it. The balcony is gone, but they got in an artist and she made. They printed it on a canvas and they hanged the canvas on the wall. So they didn't really paint it back on the wall, but it is now a cinema. So the seats are different. So it's more normal cinema, but with really bright colors and yeah, very.